Engineer Eng Wijayapala on the topic of coal versus LNG based power generation and challenges ahead of the predicted climate issues by end of the 21st century in the Sri Lankan context. Can I already there? Eng Wijayapala.
Pleasure to talk here at this KSU conference. So the topic I have selected today is coal versus LNG based power generation and challenges ahead of the predicted climate issues by the end of the 21st century in a Sri Lankan point of view. So why I took this topic is there's a great debate that has arisen during the last 6 months in the country, starting from the first citizens, and I find it now all the roadside people also. How should we plan the electricity supply in this country? Everybody has an opinion. And I also find that there are a lot of exaggerations in that. So at least in this group, I am trying to make a clearer picture so that we can take informed decisions. So my presentation will be structured on some facts about coal and coal power generation and facts about LNG and LNG power generation, because now the debate in Sri Lanka is which one we should adhere to and which one we should forget about, or whether we should go in the right mix. And then some facts about the GHG emissions, and again in Sri Lankan context, and how much we are related to this GHG emissions and global warming, and some facts about the economic development of us compared to the world, rest of the world. And we talk a lot about the COP21 agreement, just a line of thought on that, and then I put the summary of my way of thinking. So first 3 slides I have put some information on the electricity supply, the global electricity supply in the world. So we have different views on this. I have 3 slides and I will look at the renewables which are not in this picture in detail. In a little while I put the numbers on that. You can see the purple line on the top is the coal used for electricity generation from coal. You can see it's predominantly dominating. That is the one that is supplying most of the electricity throughout the world. Because the reason is because it is cheap. So of course it has its pluses and minuses. So we have to look at the current context and also in the right context. So you can see also we talked a lot about we had a lot of expectations about nuclear. Nuclear had its acceleration but deceleration as well, and also it has remained relatively a small figure. And then the renewables of course have been picking up recently because of the price slumps, especially in the solar sector and also the wind sector. Let's look at the numbers in a little while. And so until now, the coal has been the predominant one because it is cheap. There are people who are saying that the coal is expensive and the LNG is much cheaper and all that, but the fact is different. But if you look in a different context like global warming, it's a different way of thinking. And here again, regionally, how electricity has been generated. And also I would like to put the figure there. So we are talking about in the world about nearly 24,000 terawatt hours total production of electricity. And whereas in Sri Lanka we produce 13 terawatt hours for our consumption. So we are very small electricity produce and use. And our per capita use is also very low. And here is a picture that I want to emphasize upon, because when we see the sunlight around us, and also we are carried away by the fact that we don't need so much of solar power. So I'm sure you should be able to do without anything else. But look at the figures in the global context. Out of the total electricity production, 23.7 comes from renewable. This is at the end of 2015. And out of that 23.7, 16% comes from hydropower and 3.7 from wind and bio 2. And still solar is only contributing 1.2 in a global context. Because there are reasons for that. Of course, solar has been picking up faster, much faster in the last 10 years or 2 decades. But the numbers are small because we need a lot of electricity. And in that scale, contribution from solar is small due to the price signals, maintaining the price signals. Because the unit cost is higher compared to many other technologies. That is why it is not picking up. This is including Europe, including America, including everywhere. Right? So it is not that competitive in the supply chain steep. It is yet to come. And there are reasons for that. Right? If you look at a bit about coal, right? Coal, there are low rank coals, what you call the subbituminous and the lignites, and then the hard coal, which is about 50-50 almost, and then in the hard coal, about 50% comes from the total picture about from bituminous coal. You can see that what I have rounded up and marked here is the coal that we are using in Sri Lanka. So in Sri Lanka, we use the best available coal. Available because anthracite is only 1%, that is a rare variety. So the best available coal is the one that we are using here. Now look at how so this is about the regionally how they are using it. This is a coal pit. It's in Germany. It's an open pit in Germany. You can see. So although we have big talks that the Europe is cleaning, so we have to be sticking to the same things. But you can see everywhere they are doing it. And look at the next picture. See who is burning more unclean coal. Right? This is the low quality coals. Right? Low quality coals. You can see the total is the top line, and then you can see OECD Americas and OECD Europe and OECD Asia. They are the biggest burners of bed, which have 30%, nearly 30% ash. Right? They are the people who are burning the worst, but they are not stopping it. Remember, even though 1996 they signed the Kyoto Protocol. Of course, they failed to ratify it and all that. That's a different issue. But still, nevertheless, see 1996 onwards also, they have been burning the same amount of bad coal. Right, despite the obligations under Kyoto. Maybe because of their nature, they are coal country, they need a lot of energy and so on. And here are some more facts about coal. Some the biggest producers: China, US, India, Australia, Indonesia. Indonesia is one of the main sources we get coal from. Russia and South Africa are the two sources we get coal from. And then the exporters, biggest one near us, Indonesia, Australia. And the net importers, you can see the amounts, quantities. They are in million tons. Million tons. World uses about 8,000 million tons of coal every year. And out of that, our present power plant at Lakmite, and we bring about 2.5 million tons. We have very small use of coal. Whether we are going to stop it or not, right? Whether we are going to stop that and plant the Sampur or not, the world is doing a lot of business with coal and they are burning them. So it's very difficult to control. So we have to look in a realistic angle. And here are some coal price variation, coal, oil and gas price variation. You can see they have been very much coupled in the early years. In 2008 to 9, you can see they are coupled very much. When one price goes up, they are very much related. But they have got a little bit decoupled later on, recently. Right? So when the oil prices goes up and down, now the predictions are coal and the gas prices will remain relatively stable. And some technologies, we are looking at some facts about coal and coal power plant technologies. You can see how the improvements have taken place. And you can see the subcritical and advanced subcritical power plant which were below 40% efficiency. And now we have supercritical and ultra supercritical power plants which are over 45% efficient. But there is a hit there because the supercritical and ultra supercritical power plants they don't come in the small sizes. The unit sizes are more than 500 megawatts. So whether that can fit into your power system, especially in a small nation and islanded nation, is a question. Here are the advantages of going more efficient in terms of the carbon dioxide emissions. You can see the carbon dioxide emissions can reduce as much as by say 20%, right? By going from subcritical to say supercritical and ultra supercritical, right? So these are the new trends that are coming. So whether we say we are not going to do any power plants or coal power plants, or we can say we are going to do more efficient power plants, or we can take a decision where we will go at the existing power plant with efficiency because it's low cost. So these are the options we should look at rather than taking a blunt decision. And here is Sri Lanka's demand curve. Why I put it here is this puts a strain on us using coal power plants in Sri Lanka because of unit size. You can see the peak is no matter in this case, but off peak, which is occurring from the early morning hours, which is much less, put a strain on or constraint on the size of the coal power plant, because if you have a too large power plant running at when the low demand is there, if for some reason it goes offload, the network gets a big jolt, and that is too much and the network can come down. Just like offloading a big person from a boat, right? So we have to be careful there. So that puts us a constraint that we can't use a supercritical plant maybe until our minimum demand goes to a sufficiently large value like this. So we expect by 2025, like we can have a 500 megawatt supercritical plant, right? Of course, we can have it a little earlier. In that case, we will have to operate it slightly derated during the early morning hours, maybe for about 5 hours. And then we will switch to some facts on LNG, which is the next fuel option available, right? And so we have proposed plans for about 1000 megawatts with the existing conversions of the existing gas power plant, plus some new power plants to be constructed in Kerala area near Colombo. You can see if we put up 1000 megawatts, we will need about 2 million cubic meters of natural gas every year, right? And here look at the world's usage of natural gas. They are in billion cubic meters, right? So quite a lot of them. And people think natural gas is cheap, right? Natural gas is cheap. It depends upon how you get it and from where you get it and what are your quantities, right? So look at so the regionally how we use natural gas, and look at the prices here. I have put the prices from 1984 up to 2014, right? The first top curve is the prices the Japanese got, or they get natural gas or LNG, because they get it as liquefied natural gas. Whereas the other countries, USA, Belgium, Germany and Spain, they get through pipelines. So the liquefaction and gasification part is not there. So that adds another cost. So you can see LNG has been expensive, and in the recent years it has been more expensive, right? And remember, the Japanese are buying some 50, maybe 100 million cubic meters, right? So at that quantity the prices are that much, almost double the pipeline cost, right? Almost double the pipeline cost. And if we ask for 2 million cubic meters from this club, look at the prices that we might end up with, right? If we have a smaller quantity, right? So we have to look at all these things. We can't put some European prices of natural gas and work out a unit cost of electricity and then say, okay, natural gas is cheap for us. We have to look at other constraints. Being a small island and a country where we don't need, say, immediately 5000 megawatts of natural gas power plants, right? That's out of the question. And here are where the natural gas comes from, right? US, and they have got these new sources, shale gas and shale oils, which have given a downward slump towards this the prices because of the huge quantity that are coming up. And then you can see the exporters, Russia, Qatar is having a big quantum, and so is Australia, right? And the importers, right? You can see Japan is importing 128 million cubic meters and getting those prices, right? And we are looking for 2 million cubic meters and looking for cheap prices, which is a difficult one, right? And now I turn my attention to this global warming issue in a nutshell, right? You can see since the industrial age, 1800 up to 2011, we have emitted, as per the estimates of IPCC, that is Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, right? We have estimated the amount of carbon dioxide and other GHG gases we have emitted since the industrial age up to 2011 is 1,900 billion tons, gigatons or billion tons, right? And also they have estimated, if we want, now we already have an average temperature increase of 1 degree globally, and if you want to keep this contained within 2 degrees, another 1 degree by the end of this century, we can release only 2,900 gigatons or billion tons, out of which 1,900 by 2011 we had already emitted, right? And we have a balance remaining amount of almost 1,000 billion tons of carbon dioxide to export, right? And at the moment we are emitting at this rate 35 billion tons a year, and the electricity sector is the biggest contributor, electricity and heat sector. We are emitting 35 billion tons, and our remaining quota is 1,000 billion, and you divide it by and learn that is very nearby, maybe 40 50 years. So of course that has to be done. In that context, that has to be done. That has to be reduced. Right? But where and by whom is a question. Can we do it by 2.5 million tons and stop it and get a downward trend in Sri Lanka? Because we are very vocal about this, right? In many forums I have seen people saying we must not emit and so on, otherwise the global warming will be very serious, right? So we must look in right countries and look at the economic indicator which I am coming to, right? So this is again something on the total emissions by different countries. You can see since 1990 to 2011. Why I put 1990? 1990 the reference year for Kyoto Protocol. The Kyoto Protocol, the condition was they gave all the industrialized countries a target of reducing their GHG emissions on average by 5%, relative to their 1990 emissions. That was Kyoto Protocol in the market, right? But you can see how they have fared, right? So United States between 1990 and 2011 they have increased it by 16% rather than coming down by 5%, right? And so are other countries, right? China, right? And European Union and other countries, right? Because they couldn't adapt. So the Kyoto came in 1996 and in 2012 it went off and with relatively less impact. Of course there were brakes put on, that is good, but they are not sufficient to looking at that quota, that available quota. And here we should look at this data by World Bank, 2015 data by World Bank about the per capita emissions and the per capita GDPs. I have highlighted some figures to draw your attention. You can see Sri Lanka. Our GHG emissions are 18 million tons, right? 18 million tons, whereas China 7,400 million tons and the USA 6,600 million tons, right? And that is what is adding up to that 35 billion tons that I told earlier, right? Now here we are talking about stopping Sampur coal power plant and cutting down that 18.8 or whatever the 12 million coming onto it and controlling all these big figures, right? Which people don't understand. They think that is possible. Right? So, and look at the per capita GDP, where we are, right? We are relatively a poor country, we call it, we are middle and we are passing the middle range and coming up and so on. So look at China, right? China has always crossed $7,000 mark, right? And India, of course, the big population, the poor population, 1,580. And look at the larger, bigger countries, right? You can see the countries, let's say, the Europe, right? And the Norway, the biggest, the highest per capita, but of course it's a small country, small nation, maybe 5-6 million people, right? And the countries like Myanmar, you can see their relative emissions are, the per capita emissions are very low. See the Sri Lanka's per capita emission, 0.8 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent every year, right? Whereas if you take a country like USA, it is 14, right? 14 million tons per person, right? Pretty high. So that is where it should be stopped and reduced if possible first, right? So should we come down from our economic development from 3,926 and be happy to, right? Be happy to be feeling that okay, we have impacted on the reduction of global warming. I think that's a pipe dream. I don't think that will make any sense, right? So, but of course that doesn't remove us from the equation. We have to do things. We have to do things which we can do without sacrificing the economic development which we are yet to achieve. I'll put some figures, right? In 1995, where we were to get the first coal power plant in this country. In 1995, we were to get the first coal power plant, and it came in 2011. Luckily, the first phase came in 2011, right? And in 1995, the then government was persuaded by various experts, don't go for coal, go for oil. Because oil was relatively cheap then. Maybe I remember barrel price was about $20 a barrel. So it's really cheap. So we, instead of putting up 900 megawatt coal power plant, we put up 850 megawatts of oil burning power plants, right, in this country. And they want some on private basis, some on government funds, right? And then in 2-3 years time, oil prices began to skyrocket. It came up to $140 a barrel and plus. Right, where we went for the hedging deal and all that, right? And then what happened? Now what happened? Now I calculated backward, right? If we had the coal power plant set up in 1995 without putting up the oil burning power plants, what is the money that we could have saved and passed the benefits to the electricity consumers? I found that to be from 1995 to 2015, we have spent additional sum of 900 billion rupees. 900 billion rupees, which we all have paid. So we are happy when the treasury pays, because we think that the treasury is paying and we are not paying, not from our electricity bills, but the treasury pays our money, right? So the treasury paid our money for that 900 billion. So divide by 20 million people and calculate your share. Right, you have 20 million people here, divide 900 billion by 20 and 20 million people and find out how much you have paid individually. If you have 4 people at home, you have to multiply by 4. Right? That's the amount there. So right now also, we might be, my opinion, we might be making a mistake if we don't make an informed decision. I don't say we must go for coal. We must look at the what are the predicted coal prices, what are the predicted LNG prices, what are the costs of the renewables, and then if we take whatever decision, what is the economic impact of that decision on the country? Right? We must do it now, not later, not 20 hours later, 20 years later as I did. And after 2030 or so, somebody comes and say, by our decision the cost is another 1,000 billion or something. But we should do it now and take an informed decision. But that is why this discussion should go to right places, and our leaders, everybody should look at these things. And so I have put the enormous problems coming out, right? So these are the predictions, right, for the increase of the world population, which will put more pressure on the supply of energy, right? Which will put more pressure on the supply of energy and other resources. You can see, by the time of the Industrial Revolution, 1800, it was only 1 billion people in this world, right? 1 billion people. And then, say about even 1950, right, it is less than 3 billion. But today, we have 2016, 7.3 billion people in this world, and it is projected to go by various scenarios by the UN. Right, you can see if it is a business as usual scenario, it might even explode to 16, 17 billion by the end of the century. Right, that will require additional energy, additional electricity, and everything together. So of course, we have to find a solution. This is a global issue. It's a global issue, right? So we have to look in the global context, and the right people should respond to that. Some sensible solutions that have come up, right? The COP21, I will not again read it, right? So it merely says it doesn't put any mandatory requirements on the parties. And again, a note, somebody might ask why Kyoto failed. Why Kyoto Protocol that was signed in 1996, why it failed? It failed fundamentally because it contained only industrialized nations by then, what we call the developed countries, and it left behind China and India, which were the bigger nations that were coming out, over 1.2 billion people plus people in their countries, and they were the people who were having a huge 10% plus economic development rates, right? So which were the reasons for the more emissions coming out, right? So they were not in the equation. That was the main reason why China and India were not inside the Kyoto. That is why the main reason that the failure of the Kyoto. Of course, the China and India is a nice argument. I also like that, because they say, look at the per capita emissions. So their denominator is 1.3 billion people. To divide anything by that, the numbers become small, right? To take America, it's only 300 million people. So the number is small. So you divide by that, and the number becomes big. So those are relative issues. So we have to look in that angle also, and also look at that. We have to be fair also. The poor countries need more energy, right? Sweden, for example, they need a lot of energy. You can't say our per capita and the Swedish man's per capita or the right to emission should be the same. It's not fair. We have to look in different angles as well. So some sensible proposals, right, that is coming out of this COP discussion. So they put more emphasis. On energy efficiency improvements, which is quite right. Look at the most of the energy inefficient equipment we are using, right? And they put relatively low emphasis on other sections. So they put the effort should be on the efficiency improvements. So some suggested options for Sri Lanka. So we should go for LNG as a fuel security option. So we must have it right mix. And then what I suggested, go for high efficient supercritical coal power plants and maintain minimum of 40% electricity from renewables all throughout from our sector, and take long-term policy decisions on high efficient vehicles and end use equipment. So that's my message.
Thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to the time schedule. Can we have questions? 2-3 questions from the floor? Yeah. First concern. You do not have any combined cycles here?
We have combined cycle.
Okay.
We have combined cycle operating on oil.
On oil. And what are the efficiencies of those?
The efficiency is almost at 45%.
45.
Because we are not having combined heat, so we don't need much heat.
No, I do understand that, yes. But the electric efficiency on the large combined cycles, the new ones, could be up to well above 60% now. But of course, it is a huge investment also, so yes.
Terminal cost is, LNG unloading terminal, land-based terminal will cost about $400 million.
Yeah.
Are there any considerations whatsoever in your country related to CO2 carbon tax?
We have no carbon taxes here, but of course we don't envisage it. Looking at the World Bank predictions on coal, still they are not indicating anything, even on coal, in the world market as well.
We could see that on your German curve there, there was a significant dip, and that was when they started to give subsidies to the wind and to the solar.
Yes, I agree.
And then the coal went down drastically. But then now they're taking away the nuclear, and then they had to go up with coal again, of course.
Same in Japan, because of the Fukushima.
Because of Fukushima, yes.
And
Well,
they
that disaster has made lots of problems. Yes.